Friends, I want to invite you underneath the tent as best as possible. It is warm outside. We're about to begin the services for Lester Donald Don Schaffer. I would ask if any of you have a cellular device to please turn it to the off position. Officiating our service today will be Rabbi Yehuda Myers of Lincolnwood Jewish Congregation, AG Beth Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we commence today's service with a recitation of the traditional chapter 23 from Tehillim, Psalms. Those who can, please rise. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of the righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Please be seated. We are gathered here this morning to mourn the loss of a precious soul, Aryeh Ben Meir, Don Schaffer, proud son of the late Myron and Sally Schaffer, beloved husband to Marla, cherished brother and brother-in-law to the late Jerry and Jay Deutsch, loving father and father-in-law of Mark, Liz, Steve, and Laura, adored grandfather of Abby, Rachel, and Alana, fond uncle of nieces and nephews, and genuine friend to many. His presence will be dearly missed by his extended family and friends. While Don pursued numerous passions throughout his life, there was nothing more important to him than the bond he shared with his family. It was only fitting then that we begin our service with words from Don and Marla's sons, Mark and Steve.
So I get to share the historical portion of my dad, but there's a prelude to that, and that actually started 2 days ago, where my dad's life ended with his family, and both my mom and my brother Steve and myself had an opportunity to be with him at literally his final moments, and he passed peacefully and with his family at his side. And it was humble, like my dad is, and he didn't suffer any pain, and it provided an opportunity for completeness, and it felt good, even though it was very sad. The other part of this prelude, it's a little more levity. So we're staying at the Renaissance Hotel, which is on Dundee and Skokie Boulevard. And across from this hotel is a Barnaby's restaurant. And I've never been to the Barnaby's restaurant, but there's a story about the Barnaby's restaurant which predated the birth of both my brother and me. And it's almost emblematic of my dad. My mom was a teacher and earned her teaching certificate. And to celebrate, they wanted to go to a nice restaurant. And if you know anything about Barnaby's, it's a step up from Denny's, but a step down from Chili's. And so that was the nice restaurant that my mom was taken to when she received her teaching credential. And that just became like a joke for the next 50 years. Like whenever we had something big to celebrate, it was, let's go to Barnaby's, so. But my dad was just simple. I mean, that is just, I think, the word I would use for my dad, just very simple and very traditional. And so now some words that I put together. My father was born on January 7th, 1932. He was a son of Myron and Sally Schaffer and a brother to Geraldine or Jerry. As a child, Don grew up on Springfield Street in Chicago and attended Clinton Elementary School. Actually, yesterday we were going through my dad's things and happened to come across, it wasn't really a yearbook, it didn't have any pictures, like an autograph book, and it was from Clinton Elementary. So people had signs and Donnie, and it was actually really cool to read some of the things that people wrote. I think he was in 8th grade at the time, so, but a lot of rhyming, a lot of poems back in the 1940s. That was interesting. Don's favorite pastime was playing ball in the schoolyard as well as riding his bike. At 13, he was bar mitzvahed at Ner Talmud. A random story, my dad always had the ability to, like, he always remembered his bar mitzvah speech. Like, he would randomly, like, break into it. It was the most bizarre and weird thing, but he would share it with me occasionally, and had no meaning, but I thought I would share it here. He attended Senn High School, and during his teenage years, he often attended Bears games with his brother-in-law, Jay. Upon graduation, Dad enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard, and he was in the service from 1951 until 1954. And after his service, he enrolled at Wright Junior College, where he attended for about a year. He worked in a number of trades and industries, culminating in going into a joint business venture with his father, aptly named Schaffer Machinery. Dad met his future wife, my mom, Marla, in 1966 while living at Old Orchard Apartments. Neighbors were Wally, Melly, and Larry. They were married on January 18th, 1968 at the Knickerbocker Hotel. And actually this last January celebrated their 55th anniversary together. Earlier in their marriage, they lived on Aldine Street in Chicago, and then they later moved to Skokie. They had 2 wonderful children. Me came first. I was born in 1969. My brother, Steve, who was born in 1971. 1971. 70. Okay. In 1981, we moved to Lincolnwood. We moved in with my grandmother. Dad held many jobs, primarily in sales, culminating in 20-plus years in the wholesale jewelry business. Judaism was an important pillar and anchor for him. He grew up in a Jewish household and continued to honor and instill all these values throughout his entire life. These traditions were passed down to my brother and me. Growing up, I recall family trips to South Haven and Florida and even Detroit, where we spent a number of Thanksgivings. Dad taught me how to play poker, how to ride a bike, how to shave, how to tie knots and ties, and even how to make scrambled eggs. He was proud of both Stephen and me, and he was really our biggest fan and cheerleader. He never missed any of my music concerts or plays or any of my brother's athletic events. He was an adoring and attentive husband, just loved my mom unconditionally. While he was not the best student himself, he valued education. We never went to him for any help because he wasn't helpful, but he valued education and served as our biggest advocate during our school years. Absolutely extraordinary parent. He's a very proud papi to his 3 lovely and beautiful granddaughters. I guess to conclude my remarks, I think if there was a meme for my dad, it would be a 4-way intersection with 4 stop signs, and you have 4 cars that come to it. And my dad would let everyone else go through before him. And you'd be there for hours and days. And we laughed, but it was painful. Like, whenever we would literally get to these intersections, he literally would let everyone go through. And that was my dad. And the other thing I would say about my dad is he never had to guess what he was thinking. He had 0 filter. And so he would share freely whatever he was thinking. But again, with him, things were very binary. There was right, there was wrong. He had firm values and traditions. He was a very simple person, but he was extremely considerate and extraordinarily selfless. I'll miss my father, and I love him dearly.
Well, you never follow a superintendent that speaks once a month in public forums. So I will try and follow up here. Okay. I just wanted to take a few moments and talk about my dad It seems strange to say that publicly, as he liked to be away from the limelight. He's much more comfortable in letting others be the center of attention. But today, I don't have to worry about making him uncomfortable. I love and continue to love my father. He was a one-of-a-kind man, father, role model that shaped me to the person I am today. Not sure that's a good thing for everyone that knows me, but I'm very happy of the man I turned out to be, and I know my dad was very proud of me. I know that, as he told me countless times, and every time, it meant everything to me. I also feel very lucky to have had him 50-plus years of my life with him. He had me just before he was 39, and he was always an older father. Frankly, with all the medical issues he had, I can't believe he made it over 90 years. I guess it helps having unconditional love for my mom, as well as true unbridled hatred for the Green Bay Packers and Notre Dame football that kept him going. Let me just take a few moments and share with you some things that I've learned from my dad in areas of my life. I hope that the people here that really knew my dad, this resonates with you as the man that you all knew and loved. First, the man he was. As Mark said, he was no nonsense, emotions on his sleeve guy that you always knew where you stood with him. He never pretended to be anything different. He was incredibly honest and fair, was a real rule follower, and treated everyone as how he would like to be treated. My dad never tried to take advantage of anyone and was always trusting, and probably to a fault. He knew that a real man was judged by his integrity and followed a code of conduct and a moral compass that really seems like a relic in this day and age. Clearly, my dad was no saint. He had many decisions he regretted, but he was open about them, and he actually used it as teaching experiences for Mark and myself. We talked about it openly, and it was incredible, and it made quite an impression of my lifetime. Another trait my dad taught me was the importance of family. I think it started with his own family upbringing and being a devoted son, either by working with his dad in the family machinery business or after his father passed, speaking to his mom daily, weekly visits and dinners, and in her last years, visiting her every day when she was in a nursing home. He really was a devoted son. In regard to his own family, it always seems to begin and end with his love for my mom. God, he loved her. She honestly could do no wrong, and he backed her unconditionally. Mark and my tactic to conquer and divide literally never worked. Just painful to know he would never waver, except on one thing: money. That was his weakness. We certainly didn't grow up rich, but my dad was an easy mark for money, really for anything. We would commonly ask him for candy, arcade games, sport cards, comic books, anything. Always a yes. The guy was such a soft touch, and my brother still takes advantage of him to this day. I think the first thing that my brother did when he came into town for Dad's funeral was get change from my dad's dresser, where he would change a $5 and get 2 20s. Dad took pride in both of his sons' accomplishments, including our education, career, and families. For me, he couldn't be prouder of Abby and Rachel. He loved being their papi and watching them grow up. My dad was a fixture at their activities, as well as our family dinners every Sunday night for their entire lives. He enjoyed traveling with us to South Haven, San Diego, cruises, Arizona, among other trips. The guy showed my kids how to pick blueberries, how to order sundaes, grade fruit, bluff in card games, and in all seriousness, be thick-skinned. The guy was the butt of a lot of jokes told his way, and he never took it seriously. He laughed along with the family and really endeared himself to his grandkids. And he supported his grandkids against their strict father. My kids loved every conversation they overheard with my dad that started with the long wind-up. Steve, I'm going to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. Abby and Rachel would be grinning ear to ear, knowing their dad was going to take one on the chin. And I'm really going to miss that. And then lastly, he had love for my wife, Laura. My mom was number one, obviously Mark number two. But on that list, but a close third, was Laura. He was concerned about everything that had to do with her, Where was she? Had she eaten? How's she feeling? Endless questions for her well-being, and Laura loved it. She made him his favorite meals, baked his favorite desserts, bought him shoes, clothes, the list goes on. It made me really happy that they loved one another. The other constant for my dad was sports. This was something my dad and I really shared. Yes, he loved all the Chicago sports teams, but he also loved boxing. Guy could watch featherweight through heavyweight and actually knew who the fighters were and tell me about past fights. It was crazy the knowledge he possessed back before social media. He knew boxers that came from all over the world. As far as watching sports, my favorite memories was watching him growing irate when our team was losing, him calling me a sucker for watching the rest of the game and then storming upstairs. Every so often, our team would make a miraculous comeback. And of course, I heard him yelling shouts of joy from his bedroom because of course he was watching it. And of course, he was the biggest sucker of them all. My dad taught me baseball. He was my first catch, coached my baseball teams in grade school, went to my games through high school and softball games in adulthood. My dad was my first call when any Chicago pitcher had a no-hitter, when either team made the playoffs, and after both the Sox and the Cubs won their World Series. I just wanted to be sure he saw what I saw, and then we can talk about it later. I'm really going to miss that. And I guess I'm not going to know what Jewish players are in any sport and on what team, and because without social media, I have no idea how he knows, but he always knew, and he followed their stats relentlessly. Okay, one last thing I just wanted to talk about was this weird dichotomy that my father was. This guy was the eternal pessimist. He always saw the darker side of situations and never let you get too comfortable on where you were in life. I'm not sure if this was nature or nurture, but he always would sober you up with a story or a comment that wouldn't let you get too big for yourself. You just got used to it. And unfortunately, I think it's probably a main characteristic for me. But I don't even have to look to my family for validation on that one. But here is a dichotomy. Whenever it's darkest for me, my dad was my biggest booster. He was with you win or lose, but when you lost, good God, the guy would rally around you. Whether losing a big game, personal or professional struggles, he was always there. He'll offer advice, he'll listen, he'll blame other people, he'll tell jokes. It's crazy. When things are at their lowest, he had a superpower to make you feel better, and I love that. But lucky for me, he left a lasting impression on my life, and I can only repay it by paying it forward with my own family as well as my friends. So, Dad, know I will be thinking about you always, but especially when I hear a Johnny Mathis song, any documentary the Nazis are in retreat, the movie Gunga Din is on, or when I watch a sporting event and remember you saying, "Son, always remember, the cream always rises to the top." How true. I'll miss my dad.
Thank you, Mark and Steve. In the Torah portion that lies before us this upcoming Shabbos, we recount the poignant passing of an exceptional leader in Jewish history, Aaron HaKohen, Aaron the High Priest. Aaron's remarkable leadership style is described by our revered sages with a single word: love. Aaron's boundless love served as the cornerstone of his leadership, inspiring countless individuals to follow his example. His love flowed naturally and authentically, permeating his actions, words, and demeanor. It uplifted spirits, fostered unity, and brought out the best in others, encouraging them to embrace their own capacity for love and compassion. With unwavering support, Aaron nurtured the potential for goodness in each individual he encountered. This genuine love was the essence of Aaron HaKohen. And though I did not have the privilege of knowing Don, our time spent with the family over these past few days has made it abundantly clear that Don was the Aaron of his family, embodying the same qualities of love, kindness, and unwavering dedication that defined Aaron's legacy. Don was a living testament to the values that give life meaning itself. His strong work ethic, honesty, unwavering principles, humility, and genuine sincerity were qualities that resonated with all who knew him. His infectious laughter brought joy to those around him, lifting their spirits and creating an atmosphere of warmth and camaraderie. Education held great importance in Don's life, and he worked tirelessly to provide his sons with the tools and opportunities for success and personal growth. His commitment to Judaism was genuine as he embraced the traditions by which he was raised, ensuring that his own children experienced the richness and beauty of their heritage. These values and so many more that Don held were so dear, were not only simply ideals that he espoused, they were the very essence of his being, woven into the fabric of his existence. However, like Aaron, the foundation upon which all of Don's values stood, the driving force behind all his actions, was love. Don's genuine and boundless love for his family was the heartbeat that animated his every gesture, his every decision. This love began with his own parents, as described so beautifully, Myron and Sally Schaffer. Don's love was evident in his interactions with his mother. As I said before, his dedication to her to not only speak but to visit her every single day was remarkable. As Don started a family of his own, his love for his beloved wife Marla was an unwavering and profound force that defined their relationship. It was marked by deep respect, unwavering commitment, and unbreakable unity. Their love created a haven of warmth and support, serving as an inspiration to their family and all who witnessed the depth of their devotion. As Don embraced fatherhood, his love and dedication shone brightly in his relationship with his sons, Mark and Steve. He served as an unwavering pillar of support and guidance in their endeavors, imparting wisdom and instilling values that would shape their lives. Don took immense pride in their accomplishments, rejoicing in their joys, and shouldering their burdens with unwavering love. When Mark and Steve found their life partners in Liz and Laura, and had their children, Abby, Rachel, and Alana, arrived, Don's love extended to embrace his new role as a father-in-law and a devoted, enduring grandfather. His grandchildren became the source of his greatest joy, and he delighted in their every accomplishment and milestone. His love for them was boundless and unconditional, serving as a guiding light in their lives. But most importantly, like Aaron, it was due to this infectious love that Don exuded that empowered and enabled him to instill the values he held so dear into the hearts and souls of his own family. Even in the brief hours that I spent with the family these past few days, I was able to witness unmistakably that they too embody the same values that Don lived by, living lives rooted in hard work, honesty, sincerity, humility, laughter, and education in the teachings of Judaism. And like Don, at the very core of their existence lies their love for their family, their love for each other, their love for their husband, father, and grandfather, Don Schaffer, Aryeh Ben Meir. And so even though we are here today in deep and bitter mourning, we know that Don's love and teachings will live on through his family, his children, his grandchildren, and all those whose lives he touched. May his soul be forever bound in the bond of eternal life. Tehei nishmaso tzura b'tzor ha'chaim. In just a moment, we will continue with the burial. In Judaism, in Jewish tradition, burying a deceased is considered one of the greatest mitzvahs, one of the most significant deeds that one can do in their life. However, although it is a great mitzvah, it is one we do with a sense of somberness and regret. And therefore, there are two customs, two traditions that have arisen in Jewish practice when it comes to participating in the burial. The first is that when we take earth to put onto the grave, the first thing we do, the first shovel, the first grave the first earth we provide, we do with a backhand, with a sign of reluctance, a hesitancy to participate in this mitzvah. The second is we do not hand the shovel to the next person. We place it back into the ground, allowing them to take it itself. So we will just, in just a moment, we call upon all those who like to participate to make a line in just a minute. Okay, we're gonna do the last words. So, come. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, and they're gonna. Yeah, this.
I already said hi, my Arvin. I wish you were here. Is that her? Oh. What's your name?
How's your name?
Hurting.
Hurting. Don't tell me.
No, not hurting, but like stiff.
Stiff will take time.
Oh, God. Wait, you're not stiff anymore? I'm aware. Yes, I know.
You need them too?
Yeah. She was here. I kept on looking for them.
I'll remind everyone to please make sure you're drinking water. If you do not have some, please raise your hand. We'll make sure that's provided. Is there water in here?
Not until they cover.
Yeah.
Do you want my water? I don't really drink it. Oh yeah, the X is in the back of your suit? Yeah. How old was Jane? She was older than Dad. But was she younger than Daddy? Or was she older than Daddy? She was older. Yeah, they were the closest. And they got along. They got along. It was very fun family. Yeah.
we can do the shovel first.
There was another time where my dad, our dad, he was on the L, he was going to work or whatever, and he missed his stop, and we went, closer into the city, and the door opened up, and there was Don singing. And I was like, no, what the hell are you doing here? So my dad was like, shut up, shut up.
Just tell me when to stop to get out.
Two bushes straight ahead.
Yeah, but there's only one bush.
They're next to each other.
Yeah, it goes a bush, a headstone, a bush. And I would,
Yeah. All right, I'm okay now. All right. I have to stand. We're going to watch that, Rob.
Yeah, we have to go out first.
we'll just go out.
I think if you go out,
It's a beautiful trivia. Amazing.
Right, isn't it beautiful?
It really is.
that's mine.
The next one is
Yeah, so you just exit there.
Okay.
And if you go left, that'll take you to Irving. There you go. You're going back to Evanston. Oh, so you make a right. That'll take you to Harlem.
That's right.
Schaffer from South.
That's your sister.
I think I recognize you.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, we have all really wonderful people.
Used to joke with her because we had Arlene Gordon coming every morning, and they had Marla coming every morning until the COVID. Both stopped.
Every morning. It was I have a lot of my relatives came from my dad's side of the family, which was very nice.
More people than before were coming over.
You know what? Whoever, I have to take.
It's a wonderful tribute. It's
Okay,
really
you see this man? It's my right there. This is my mother's brother. 103. You like my uncle? Yeah. Isn't that one? Yeah. He's just. All right. Yeah. It's so.
Unfortunately, walking here is most unsteady.
I'm gonna go sit down. Yeah.
Is it going in your show?
Yeah.
Tore out our sanctuary, gave it to a co-will. I gave it, rented it. It's going.
Yeah.
So I figured probably
We were very young.
Come on. It's amazing. Amazing. I'm gonna need you.
It's okay, as long as I'm out of the sun. It's okay. Here, Richard. Where do you want
Why we don't pass the shovel from one
Like, oh yeah, I have that. And Rachel.
Hello there. Oh my goodness. I remember the face, but I don't remember.
Yes. I remember. This is here. I don't know.
I'm Diane.
Diane.
Yes, how are the kids?
Doing well. Thank you.
They're a bit active.
I'm in this big and then he just changed jobs. He's a launch manager for and then Naomi is also well, she remembers the face, but yeah, she knows that. So Naomi he was I'm going to go down.
Are you going back? Oh no, you're going back. We're going towards the car. We're going back to the So will they be there? Yeah. Look at the weather. I know.
Sharing that too. Don just kind of go back and forth and rip each
other. Friends, we're going to conclude in just a moment. Shiva will take place at the Steve and Laura Schaffer residence. That's 422 Pine Street in Deerfield. That information for those of you online is available on our website. This evening from 6:30 to 9 o'clock p.m., Tuesday from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m., and Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Memorial contributions can be made to Lincolnwood Jewish Congregation, AG Beth Israel. That information is located on the service folder or on our website, or a charity of your choice. Family should know no more sorrow.
I just wanted to let everyone know you're more than welcome to come to our house right after the service. So we're going to be sitting Shiva from now till this evening. So you don't need to wait till 6. We have plenty of stuff. So please come.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the Kalmale. El Male Rachamim Shochein Bameromim Hamsei Menucha Nochan Al Kanfei HaShechina B'ma'alos Kedoshim Etor Mekazorik Yom Azhirim Es Nishmas Aryeh Ben Meir Shalach L'olamo Ba'avor Shanach Mispalim Aras Karas Nishmaso B'garin Tnei Menuchaso Lachein Bal Rachmim Yasser B'sesek Nafav L'olamim Bitzror Chamis Nishmaso Adonai Hu Nachalaso V'yanuach B'Shalom Mishkava V'Namar Amen. We conclude this service with a Kaddish. Warner's, please. Yiskada Shemei Rabbah Vilma Tihu Asid Yiskadasa Ulachaya Messiah Ulasaka Lechaye Alma Ulmivnei Karta Dirushlem Ulashachlel Hechle Begava Ulemekar Palchana Nuchra'a Meara Ulaasava Polchana Dishmaya Lasrei V'yemlach malchusha b'richu v'malchusei v'karei v'chayechon v'chayechon v'chayedachol beis Yisrael Adalav Izman Kariv Yimru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach V'yolam Omer Maya v'yishtabach v'yisba'ar v'yisraman v'yisnasei v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shmei l'kudshah b'richu v'eva min kol berchasa v'shirasa kush v'chasa v'nechamasa amiram v'alma v'imromei Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imromei Oseh shalom v'imromah Ku yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imromei. We ask all those present to please form 2 rows going this direction for the mourners to walk through in just a moment. So all those present, please form 2 rows right here in front of the car. Right where, right here. So you guys are gonna stay here? Just 3 of you? We will recite words of consolation. I will say that out loud. Excuse me? We recite words of consolation. I will say that out loud and we repeat after me. Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'toch Sha'ar Avele Sion V'Yerushalayim. In the omnipresence, come through amongst the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Amen. This concludes our service.